Ambassador Kenitri stared in dismay at the planet that hung in space before him. When the Galactic Council had approved the Malari colony, the survey teams identified Balia as a promising candidate, temperate, mineral-rich, ripe for settlement with minimal adaptation needed. Just 4 standard decades later, Kenitri could barely recognize the disaster in front of him. Where swirling white clouds should have wrapped azure oceans and emerald continents, only murky dust obscured the planet's shriveled remains. Beldia was dying. Kenri's 4 eyes blinked with confusion. Planetary death happened, yes, but not like this. Beldia had been murdered, its once abundant ecosystem stripped by the arriving colonists whose mushrooming population glutted every resource. Most perplexing was why the Malari leaders allowed it. Surely they monitored ecosystem stability indicators during settlement. Did they simply not care about sustainability planning? Regardless, presenting the grim data from his survey would not make today's Galactic Council meeting an enjoyable one, with human newcomers attending as observers for the first time. Carrie wished desperately they weren't about to witness what awful planetary stewardship looked like. If only there was a solution, some way to revive what greedy folly had killed. But terraforming a dead world would take lifetimes, if it was possible at all. The council gathering proceeded as painfully as anticipated, as images of eroding ruins and lifeless soil flashed by. Shocked gasps and outraged roars erupted from around the amphitheater. The Malari ambassador cowered under accusations of negligence, unable to justify such criminal ecological destruction. It was the humans, however, who surprised Kenitri most. The usually boisterous newcomers sat silent, their single ambassador leaning forward intensely scanning the data stream. Kenitri wondered, had humans encountered similar tragedies before their explosive arrival on the galactic stage? For such a young race, they were surprisingly advanced, already innovating radical technologies and fearlessly expanding. When approached about Beldia, Ambassador Nord made an unexpected proposition. They could rehabilitate this dying planet themselves via an experimental process, if the Council would allow it. Such a feat was considered barely within technological reach even by the oldest empires. While grateful at this generous offer, Kenitri felt quite skeptical about their odd alien enthusiasm. Still, without alternatives except allowing a potential thriving world perish when it need not, the Council gave consent. Leaving his respected elders to grumble at administrative formalities, Kenitri joined Ambassador Kijung aboard her ship as the small human fleet leapt instantly across 50 sectors to reach Beldia, built for function rather than comfort. He was surprised how inviting the utilitarian spaces felt despite their stark minimalism. Ambassador North smiled warmly as she led their delegation to the compact but well-equipped lab that served as her office. So what exactly is this revolutionary process humans have invented? Kenitri asked, trying unsuccessfully to mask the disbelief in his voice. Can you truly revive biospheres from near total collapse? North laughed. I understand your skepticism, my friend. We call it terraforming, reshaping dead worlds to live again. Her triocular eyes twinkled with enthusiasm. And while hardly new to us, achieving ecosystem stability on barren planets, this damage is still an extreme challenge even for human science. But our terraforming technologies have advanced exponentially in 5 short decades in settling Mars and Europa. We aim to prove them successful now on the galactic stage, provided you help evaluate results so we can calibrate further. Over the next days, Kenitri watched in awe as a monumental human construction fleet swarmed the dying planet. Enormous atmosphere factories and orbital platforms were assembled in hours, while fleets of drones sculpted new mountains and valleys below. North invited him to observe firsthand aboard survey shuttles, darting through frantic activity in high orbit. From their windows, Kenitri saw continents he once walked, now totally transformed, deserts flooded into seas, new archipelagos rising between engineered currents, squat fusion reactors laboring nonstop powered cascading waterfalls through constructed rift canyons, generating electrical energy while hydrating barren terrain. Glaciers stretched and rivers flowed where mere days before there had been only endless dunes. Most astonishing was the biological flowering launched in parallel. Transports arrived continuously hauling genetically coded ecosystems from across human space. Their precious living cargo then cultivated aggressively across Beldia's regions. Conitry's four eyes couldn't drink in sufficient detail. Forests erupting outward by kilometers daily, wetland biomes accumulating biomass exponentially, even reef and hydrothermal communities established themselves. Never had he conceived of habitats transplanted so massively intact, then sprouting into maturity as if simply paused overnight. He'd known human bioengineering was advanced from the medical miracles they freely traded, but this wholesale biosphere integration made him wonder if standard conservation doctrine itself needed rethinking. Within 8 standard weeks, his readings confirmed Beldia had reached ecosystem stability equilibrium, the desert planet now absent from all sensors or windows. In its place bloomed a lush jewel more habitable than many who birth life naturally. "We did it!" North exclaimed as their shuttle descended through fragrant new forests toward the Malari capital city. "Beldia won't just support life again. It'll thrive better than before. Please, let your people know what we've learned here. No planet need be abandoned as dead with ecological engineering." But North's proud speech faltered as they cleared the trees in Conitry, realized mountains now encircled the city where none existed before. And these peaks were no random shale and granite. Jewel-like structures and geometric architecture marked them unmistakably as human construction. Colossal towers scraped heavenward, while elegant bridges spanned the glittering bay far below. Alien they might appear, but the sweeping curves and luminous facades projected a harmony with the land that seemed to welcome more than dominate. The Malari ambassador's relief and joy were palpable when their shuttle landed gracefully on an immaculately groomed official rooftop garden that could only have been designed by masters. Yet human architects were already departing, leaving their bewildered Malari partners rushing to decipher controls. Promenades bustled, not with architects, but everyday citizens. Families with songbirds perched on shoulders, younglings racing robots through fern-lined plazas. Little different from galactic standard if strikingly more energetic. Conitry realized North hadn't created this astonishing city alone. Rather, it was advanced colonists embarking on their exotic new world. A fully settled human colony arisen essentially overnight. Over formal first meal introductions of elaborately spiced soup skewers, Ambassador North grinned wider with each astonished compliment the Malari leaders piled on about their gorgeous adopted city. But talk shifted rapidly back to lab analysis and biome integration evaluations. Humans and Malari debated sociological minutiae and ecological theories with equal enthusiasm across a day-long working feast. Colonial planning committees were established on the spot, emerging options debated vigorously, without tension. 2 sentient species bonded deeply in a single afternoon through the collaborative terraforming triumph on what days earlier was a dying rock. Returning weeks later to observe Beldia's ongoing growth, Conitry's foreheart swelled seeing beauty that his people's theoretical models estimated would take 16 generations to cultivate naturally. Yet here Terrans engineered such richness in mere months. Witnessing children of both nations dancing together through forests humans had imagined into existence, he gained profound hope for diplomatic futures he'd worried newest arrivals might disrupt. Harmony was indeed still possible, even accelerated amazingly. Thanks to this outcome, no one could have predicted. If faltering Malari human plans could yield such friendship from disaster, Conitry looked forward to introducing Earth's passionate builders to his own people. After all, there were always new frontiers to discover.